Today we salute you, Mr. Budweiser head of marketing guy. Only you could take a beer and make it queer. 20 years of amazing ad campaigns, and this is where we end up.
Not gonna buy it.
What the f*** were you thinking?
What is going on, everybody? Wired here. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. And yes, once again, I'm back at it again with another Bud Light takedown video. Now, say what they want to say. This boycott has been incredibly effective since April 1st when they decided to platform trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. And the backlash has been phenomenal. We've never had a more successful conservative boycott. And I say conservative loosely in this because I think it's also moderates and sensible leftists who are also involved with this. We've seen the company make very big change-ups. They've released a paltry apology. They're trying to go back to their old tricks of doing the Clydesdale horses, the 9/11 stuff, all this brotherhood, America, blah, 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 blah. We're not actually addressing the issue. Then when they come out here, they do address the issue. They say, oh, well, it was misinformation. It was disinformation. It's not our fault. It's how everyone perceived it. But I got to put a pin in that right there and say, maybe it was perceived that way because you went silent on Twitter for what, like 3 weeks or something like that. And then when it did come back out, you didn't actually address it. You just tried to gloss over it like this was just going to go away. But clearly, as we're almost 6 weeks into the boycott, this is not going away. Bud Light is panicking. Anheuser-Busch is panicking. They have completely changed up their marketing team. They've fired a bunch of people or put them on leave of absences or extended leave of absences. But we all really know what that means. But now a former Bud Light employee, the marketing guru, in fact, who was behind some of Budweiser's most iconic commercials, who helped build up this brand, is speaking out about this and how they've pretty much decimated this brand that he built up for 20 years pretty much within a week. So let's get into the article here. It's a pretty interesting read. And I think this guy's probably got a good point. He's got a lot of ire to spread because the VP of marketing, Alyssa Heiner-Schneid, came out and said, hey, listen, we don't like the way this brand is. We don't like the current consumers. They're fratty, they're hicks, they're rednecks, all that type of stuff. So this guy's speaking out. Marketing guru behind Budweiser's iconic Whassup and Talking Frogs commercial says Anheuser-Busch has destroyed 20 years of work in 1 week with Dylan Mulvaney debacle. The marketing genius behind some of Budweiser's most iconic ads has slammed his former employer for destroying the image he helped create. Robert Lachky, I can't say last names, I'm so sorry, who created the memorable Whassup promo of 1999 and the Talking Frogs commercial that debuted at the Super Bowl 5 years earlier, said it took him 2 decades to establish Budweiser as one of America's most prominent beers. I can't really say I remember the Whassup ad, but I do remember the Talking Budweiser Frogs, the Budweiser. I remember that from when I was a kid. That used to be insanely popular, very iconic. I can still remember that ad to this day anyway. But again, all that's been decimated within one really, really dumb marketing strategy to try to capitulate to a population that is under 1% in this country and pretty much alienate like 27% of your current consumer base because I guess that's good marketing, right? Now sales of the light beer are down in every region of the United States. I showed a graph of that yesterday. It took us 20 years to take Bud Light beer to the #1 beer in the country, and it took them 1 week to dismantle it. Lachky said of an InBev Budweiser's Belgian parent company, which very much reminds you of a quote by the brain, the bankroll, Mr. Arnold Rothstein, who said that reputation takes a lifetime to build and only seconds to destroy. It always makes you think of that. During Lachky's time at the Anheuser-Busch, he created many of Budweiser's Super Bowl ad campaigns in the 1990s and 2000s. One of the ones he created, in which Three Frogs croaked Budweiser, was dubbed one of the most iconic alcohol campaigns in advertising history by Adweek. I would agree with that. I can still remember that ad to this day. And another featuring a group of friends calling each other while sitting at their respective homes watching television and drinking a Budweiser, in which they ask each other, what's up, helped define the late 90s and early 2000s. For me, I can't say I remember that. I do remember a Scary Movie parodying that, though. But I think maybe I was a little too young for that. Lachky also served as Bud Light's brand manager, creating advertisements like the I Love You Man commercial in 1995. I can't say I remember that one. And the Real Men of Genius campaigns, which I obviously do remember those. Under his tenure, Bud Light surpassed Miller Lite as the top-selling light beer in the country. He left Anheuser-Busch in 2009, just 4 months after InBev acquired the company and began implementing aggressive cost-cutting measures, including several round-off layoffs, though Lachky says it was his own decision to leave. Now Lachky, who runs his own consulting firm in St. Louis, says the company only has itself to blame for its plummeting sales. I would 100% agree. Whether that was through a really bad marketing strategy, whether it's through to not addressing the backlash properly, whether it's just through not an out-of-touch CEO who really does not understand their core customers and what they're supposed to represent and their base. I mean, that's what I would say. You're completely out of touch. I would, really start picking through all the upper management in there, because whoever let this thing through is just as culpable as the people who decided it was a good idea. It always affects the people at the top, or it should. It's self-inflicted, he told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, claiming Anheuser-Busch suffers from a complete lack of corporate oversight and has been that way since InBev took over the company. And I would agree with that. Executives at the company have tried to claim that Mulvaney was never actually a partner with Bud Light, despite the trans TikTok star saying otherwise in her early April video, which even included the hashtag Bud Light partner. That's very interesting. On Monday, Anheuser-Busch Global CEO Michael Ducaris blamed misinformation and disinformation that spread online for making people believe cans with Mulvaney's face were being rolled out for sale across the U.S. Again, that's a complete cop. I don't think that's actually the reason for this boycott. The reason for this boycott is, one, your silence, the radio silence on this, and two, you didn't address the issue for quite a long time. But that's not the reason. The people don't want identity politics in a beer brand. There's no reason for it. I don't think it was ever about people thinking the cans with Mulvaney's face on it were actually available for public sale. I don't think that's it at all. It's the fact that you partnered with this person who is very divisive right now while we're going through pretty much this woke identity war where girls and women are being erased and unsafe in their own spaces. And that just tells me that the CEO is completely out of touch. We never intended to make it for general production and sale for the public. It was one post. It was not an advertisement. Well, a hashtag Bud Light partner kind of says otherwise. Ducaris also claimed the video was not part of an advertising campaign in a call with investors last week. Well, then what was it? We need to clarify the fact that this was one camp, one influencer, one post, and not a campaign. Again, hashtag Bud Light partner. But a letter sent to retailers, bars, and restaurants by Grey Eagle, which distributes Anheuser-Busch products around St. Louis, claimed that Mulvaney ad was the brainchild of an outside ad agency that partnered with the company. And again, I'm just going to say right here, you stop the cap. I just believe this is full cap. We already know they have fired Alyssa Heinerschnight because she was the one who actually went out there, kind of insulted the customers, which did not help anything. But I think the snowball was already rolling at that point. People were going to be mad no matter what. And, Lachky coming out here and saying, listen, the company has really screwed the pooch on this one. Yes, he's completely right. Almost immediately after Mulvaney posted her video in early April, Anheuser-Busch lost more than $6 billion in market capitalization. That's billion with a B. In total, sales fell 26% in the second quarter of 2023 after earning $1.65 billion in the first quarter. Ducaris announced in an earnings call last week. He said the brewer posted a revenue of $14.21 billion in the period, which also beat forecasts, with the shares rising 6% since the beginning of the year and 12% in 12 months. Again, that doesn't account for April, though. It doesn't account for this quarter. Still, sales volumes of all Anheuser-Busch products fell more than 12% last month, with Bud Light sales falling a staggering 21.4%. That decline in Bud Light sales could be felt in every region of the country, according to new data from Beer Business Daily, which I've already read to you before. You can see from this chart here. Bud Light is down, Budweiser's down, Natural Light's down, Busch is down. Coors is soaring right now. Coors is actually up from last time I reported on it. I think it was at 13%. Now it's up 20.5%. American Eagle up 14.7%. That's Yingling. Coors, it's regular Coors, I guess. Yeah, that's up 10.9%. This one I'm not so familiar with. This light one, 12.8%. Yeah, this has been a catastrophic failure. This guy speaking out has got to this guy right here, Mr. Robert Lachky, he's got to feel some type of way about this. He spent decades building up this company for them to destroy it within a month. But, hey, they say get woke, go broke. So, what can you expect? I'm enjoying their failure. What about you guys? Have you drank a Bud Light product lately? I would imagine not. I don't think I ever will again. Anyway, that's all I got. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps out the algorithm. YouTube doesn't really like me making these videos anymore about Bud Light. I'm kind of being pushed to the side. I think a lot of creators are. You know, we're not supposed to criticize these woke companies because, you know, small little independent people like me. Yeah, we're not allowed to do that. But anyway, that's all I got. I will talk to you on the next one. Thank you for listening this long. Later.